What happened in Toronto? On February 17th, 2025, a routine flight turned into a terrifying ordeal when Delta Airlines Flight 48119, operated by Endeavour Air, crash-landed at Toronto Pearson International Airport and flipped over before catching fire. The Bombardier CRJ-900 aircraft, arriving from Minneapolis, had 80 individuals on board, including passengers and crew. Despite the horrifying scene, all passengers and crew miraculously survived. However, 21 people sustained injuries, with 3 in critical but stable condition. The crash happened at approximately 2:15 p.m. local time, under challenging weather conditions with blowing snow and strong gusts of wind. This isn't the first case of weather-caused accidents in Canada aviation history. Stay with me, as we will get to that in a bit. Eyewitnesses and passengers described a violent landing. The aircraft reportedly skidded upon touchdown, veered off course, and flipped upside down. One passenger, John Nelson, recalled a sudden impact. The plane hit the ground hard, and before we even had time to react, we were flipping. It happened incredibly fast, pure chaos. First responders arrived within minutes, quickly extinguishing the fire and evacuating passengers. Some travelers managed to walk away with minor injuries, while others were rushed to local hospitals for further treatment. The crash forced a temporary closure of Toronto Pearson International Airport, causing widespread travel disruptions. Dozens of flights were canceled or diverted, including some transatlantic flights that had to turn back mid-journey. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada, TSB, alongside the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, has launched an investigation into the accident. Initial theories point to a combination of adverse weather conditions and possible mechanical issues. However, officials have yet to confirm the exact cause. Could this crash have been prevented? Is weather becoming a bigger risk factor for flights? What changes, if any, should airlines implement moving forward? This marks the 4th major aviation incident in North America within a month, raising concerns about air travel safety. With so many unanswered questions, the aviation industry is once again under scrutiny. But this isn't the first time Canada has seen such disaster, because in 1985, Canada recorded the deadliest crash within its borders. In the early morning of December 12, 1985, when Aero Air Flight 1285, a McDonnell Douglas DC-8 63CF, made its final stop at Gander International Airport in Newfoundland, Canada. The plane was carrying 248 U.S. military personnel from the 101st Airborne Division, returning home from a peacekeeping mission in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula. The aircraft, operated by Aero Air, had already made stops in Cologne, Germany, before reaching Gander for refueling. Despite the cold winter conditions, nothing seemed out of the ordinary. The flight crew followed normal procedures, and after refueling, the aircraft taxied onto the runway. At 6:45 a.m., Flight 1285 began its takeoff roll, lifting off into the dark, snow-covered skies over Newfoundland. But just seconds after takeoff, something went horribly wrong. Eyewitnesses on the ground saw the plane struggling to gain altitude. The aircraft seemed sluggish, barely climbing before beginning a rapid descent. Moments later, it crashed into a forested area just half a mile from the runway, exploding into a massive fireball. All 256 people on board, 248 U.S. servicemen, and 8 crew members were killed instantly. The impact was so violent that pieces of the aircraft were scattered across a wide area, and a huge plume of smoke rose above the crash site. Rescue crews arrived quickly, but there were no survivors. It was regarded as the deadliest aviation accident involving a DC-8 in history. Its death toll was surpassed by another crash 6 years later. The crash devastated both Canada and the United States. It was the deadliest aviation disaster in Canadian history and one of the worst losses of U.S. military personnel in a single day outside of combat. For many of the soldiers, this was supposed to be their final journey before spending Christmas with their families. Instead, entire communities in Fort Campbell, Kentucky, where the 101st Airborne Division was based, were left grieving. A memorial service was held at Fort Campbell, attended by President Ronald Reagan, who called it a tragedy beyond words. Flags across military bases were lowered to half staff, and a memorial was later built at the crash site in Gander. The Canadian Aviation Safety Board, CASB, launched an intensive investigation. After 4 years of analysis, the official report pointed to ice accumulation on the wings as the most likely cause, suggesting that poor weather conditions may have prevented the aircraft from generating enough lift. However, the findings sparked controversy. A split decision within the KSB 5-4 revealed deep disagreements. Some board members disputed the icing theory, arguing that the aircraft's unusual loss of power and the sudden crash suggested an explosion or onboard fire. With no definitive cause, theories of terrorism and sabotage began circulating. 1. Bomb on board. Some experts believed the aircraft was targeted because of the U.S. military personnel on board. The FBI and CIA investigated the possibility of a bomb, but found no conclusive evidence. 2. Missile attack. A radical theory suggested the plane might have been shot down, though no military or radar reports supported this claim. 3. Overloading and mechanical failure. Some believed the plane was overloaded beyond safe weight limits, making it difficult to climb. Others questioned if mechanical failures contributed to the disaster. Despite these theories, no conclusive alternative explanation has ever been officially recognized. Even decades later, Flight 1285 remains shrouded in mystery. The tragedy changed safety regulations for icing conditions and cargo loading procedures. Memorials exist in both Gander and Fort Campbell, ensuring the lives lost are never forgotten. But the biggest question still lingers. Was it really just ice, or is there more to the story? Thank you for watching a very tragic story. Do you know the plane crash that surpassed the Flight 1285 in death toll? We will be covering that story in our next video, so please subscribe for more. See you in our next video.